without prostitution. So we're in a project, so it becomes so multi-layered. So where do you stop?
Yeah, that's fine. Because actually, I have a meeting at 10 o'clock too, so we will do half an hour.
Okay.
Let me introduce you to my sister so she will understand where you are coming from. She and me, we talked last night about dance in treatment, and that's pretty nice. She makes the movement as a therapy for people with any illness, and we totally agree, because the basic thing is move the body and keep the mind silent. I think dance is an excellent form for that. Any martial arts is like a dance movement in motion, so that fits the philosophy perfectly. With yoga also, move your body, get up and walk. What they used to do. They don't even have shoes and they don't even have clothes properly, but they kind of moved through the mountains, the forests, and they walked. Basically, they walked, and that movement for the body is very, very good, because you are supposed to, otherwise it gets inert, jada, and then we have to work on it to get rid of those accumulations. Even that information, Amy, it's more when the cells are not moving and then cells are really stagnant and the blood supply is stagnant too. Actually, in this time of Corona, there are few exercises that are oriented to the lymphatic drainage. That way, the lymphatic system is dynamic and produces our T cells and all that lymph. In yoga, they have this. We have all the circle of Willis, we call it, the lymph nodes, premental, submandibular, and the preauricular, postauricular, occipital, like that, right? For that, what they do is they just push the ears. You can do that with me too, both of you. Very simple exercise. We're going to do it sitting down. Catch hold of both lobes of the ears and then drag them down.
Okay.
Go ahead and
I'm going to be off camera, so I can do that.
Yeah, no, that's okay. You can do it. And then you hold the both ears and then move them forward and backward. Okay, all right. Then let's see it and learn it. The other thing is you want to circulate here, kind of you rub here like this. And then for the auxiliary, you elevate the shoulders and then come down. And there are exercises for the abdominal and then lymphatic drainage around the aorta and all that, that you have to bend down to the forward while you're sitting down. That's one thing. The other thing is you want to drain from the legs, and in one region, you just lift both knees up and down. And then when you go into the toes, you just stand on the toes a little bit and come down and stand on the heels and like that, So this simple thing allows, the lymphatic spread and the venous spread with the muscle tone it comes, right? So I just showed very simply, but if you do it very attentively, carefully, this really helps to get the lymphatic spread. Your dance movement will allow all these things too, probably, So that's all I just showed very briefly, but we do it much more, carefully. It takes at least 5 minutes to do the whole lymphatic drainage. It came to me. I just wanted to mention that so that we'll know what it is. So you can now come on again and the same. Any particular question that we want to explore today, or anything that comes to your mind that you wanted to talk from last night? Amy? Any particular? No?
I don't really have any particular question. I'm just kind of curious and here to learn.
Yeah.
I mean, I think for me, because of my cancer history,
Yeah.
My head tend to be hurt in the morning, like, have headaches. And so that's why I usually do exercise that I notice that when I do exercise that I sweat or I go running or dancing or whatever, any sort of workout, that it helps clear out my head. And so I feel more energetic throughout the day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How about breathing? Do you do breathing exercises?
I do breathing mostly when I'm in bed. I do the diaphragm breathing, like, you like breathe in 6, hold for 4, and breathe out for 10.
Yeah, that's good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I mean, that is the actual teaching is when you take a deep breath sitting down, and as you're sucking air from the abdominal area, that becomes the diaphragm automatically. But hope you keep your mouth closed and then breathe through the nose and then hold it for a few seconds. And then exhalation should be longer than inhalation. And that's a very cleansing breath and also brings you to the presence. So this is something I use regularly during the work time. Suppose you are working, just take a minute every hour and do those 8 times of breathing during the. It's the slowness, it is the depth that those are important, and also bring your attention to the air movement and the alanasai that makes you come to the present. So I deliberately do that several times a day. That way I don't end up with brain fog at the end of the day. It's kind of refreshing yourself, like washing the face or something, that kind of thing helps a lot in the burnout coaching too. That diaphragmatic breathing is the depth with which you breathe, which is really good, So other thing is you can do in the Sanskrit terms, what they say is you kind of stand, put your both feet 3 or 4 feet apart, and then bend from the waist with your spine being erect. You go all the way as though you're pretending your top of the head is touching the floor. And then your both hands are holding your legs as low as possible. You should allow the body to go into that by gravity too. And then you stay there for a few minutes. Supposedly, your blood supply increases to the head, and then you have less headache. I tried with some people who don't have high blood pressure, and then who has this headache, and then they reported some relief for them. And they allowed it to go down and longer time, they experienced more relief. So there are certain few exercises like that I prescribe for them if they have headache, and that kind of thing also helps them to develop the threshold, pain threshold also, just casually. That's what I do with the headache. Apart from, diagnosing if there is a cause, that obviously we are going to treat that. But when it is functional, and lots of patients have this functional headaches which are not responsive to any medications, then doing these things will help them a lot. And also before going to sleep, this is also very good exercise that helps your headache, and at the same time you go to sleep. Do you have headache at the end of the day, Amy?
Sorry, what was the question?
Do you have headaches at the end of the day after a busy day?
Yeah. So what I've been building a habit of exercise in the morning, and so that really helps. Mm-hmm. In night I was mostly tired. Like, it was interesting is that once I exercise, it opened up my vessel. It seems getting better. There are certain days I do have headache. Most of the time, if I have more lack of sleep, I have more headache. Yeah.
This morning we were talking about what is a parasympathetic state, what is a sympathetic state. And we tend to be in the sympathetic state because of the demands and the way we respond with fear or flight or, that kind of syndrome, rather than this being relaxed and focused on the work and being enjoying and not being threatened by the challenges. That is the deep breath is supposed to do to you, because when you have the deep breath, the vagus nerve comes into play, and that parasympathetic nerve system gets opposite to the sympathetic system. That's why it nullifies any of the stress that you are accumulating. This is another way why taking breaks from the work and then resetting ourselves to that state and then go and face the challenges. It's okay, respond to the challenges, not reactive in a negative way to the challenges. That also helps with the burnout. Lots of times we are kind of driven by goals, driven by external authority or fear that we may lose the job or whatever, right? But if you can really work intensely without the tension and relax without being lax, that principle works very well. Suppose you are a speed car driver and you are driving with intense, but you have no tension, and then the race goes much smoother for him and he is not burned out. This is something I learned from the yoga systems, where they said you work with the passion but divide out the fear and the negative emotions that are associated. Then you are going to be intensely working rather than just working with a lot of fear and adrenaline flowing, and then you are burned out afterward. So I think these appear to be very simple practices, but you have to keep them in mind during the day. Otherwise, our conditioning will kick in and we'll go into that fright or fight syndrome. Have you heard about the Relaxation Response Institute?
I have not.
This is about, I think, Herbert Benson. He was a cardiology professor, and he established this institute based upon, he was doing this only same word again and again, and deliberately relaxing, training the system so that it can relax no matter what the circumstances. It could be something like threatening, or it could be something requiring your attention, or it could be something that's playful for you. In all of the areas, if you can bring your intensity without the tension, then you are accomplishing a lot. And also you are not hurting your, so what he says is, he is based on another form of yoga is called mantra yoga. That means you have a word or sentence that is meaningful to you. You go on repeating that by shutting down the external sensations and then going within and then staying with that word and mantra for a long time. So then that induces this relaxation system within us. So he has a small book. I mean, if you are interested, you can get and read it. Herbert Benson, Relaxation Response. Very small book, but it's a super hit. From there, this institute has evolved, and now a lot of people are practicing that. I used to give to my patients who are high blood pressure this particular book, Herbert Benson, Relaxation Response. All he wants is just go to a same place, preferably same time if you could do it, and then sit there and then shut off all the TV, phones and everything. Just close your eyes and then repeat one particular sentence again and again, or one word. It could be Christ, Buddha, or whatever that pleases you. And then according to your belief, you don't have to change anything. Just do that.
What's
word.
The name of the institute again?
Relaxation Response.
Okay.
The book is very small, very readable. I think you should take a look at that. Herbert Benson. Herbert, Herbert, Benson. Benson. He's a cardiologist, he kind of got into this in late 70s or something, or 70s. And then it became a big movement in the country, I believe. I came to know about the book first, and then I came to know this is from the mantra yoga, but the technique is the same. It doesn't have to have a name, but if you understand the technique and work, basically not being influenced by external stimuli all the time, shut them off for a while, go to 10 to 15 minutes, just be focusing on that relaxation response, and it will come. and that becomes a habit. It's basically parasympathetic nervous.
Oh, was he the guy who founded the Benson Henry Institute?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was connected with them when I was in Boston.
Yeah, see,
Mhm.
you know that, and so I'll go and examine that. I think you will like it, you know. So that's something that may relieve your headache, because you are like, just like our fight or flight syndrome that is comes up on us instantly. This relaxation response can be induced with practice and making it a armamentarium. Then when you are encountering a situation that is really challenging, you could, you know, bring that into operation. You are kind of recruiting that at the time, and then you will not be reacting the same way that you used to. So that's the kind of training that you need. A lot of times I saw many events happen to these yogis in India. They are not at all moving, you know. They do not have any response from them like other. You can go and really abuse anybody, and they won't accept those abuses, and they won't react. Whereas we can react within a second, right? So that's what inspired me when I saw that. And they are equanimous in all situations, happy or sad. They are equanimous. How did they achieve that? Is like this training. But when you started very early, and also you didn't have this enormous stimuli that we are dealing with, all this information overload, it's much easier. You see, it's much easier to do that, you know. So we have only 10 more minutes left, you know. Amy, tell me about your dance experiences. How did you come to do this? Were you a dancer as a child, or were you kind of take it up later? How did you start the career in dancing? Hello?
Sorry, I was on mute. So I said that I never had like an official training. But my mom tell a funny story that I was maybe, I don't know, somewhere between 2 to 4 or 5.
Yeah.
But you know, she took me to see my grandma in the countryside, and then I noticed there's a group of adults were doing chore when she went to take a nap, like, you know, Chinese to do siesta.
Yeah.
So I went up to the adults and I started introducing myself and started singing and dancing for them. So it was just very,
It's a natural movement.
it's very deep in my blood.
Natural movement for you.
Yeah, I was just happy, and I don't know if I was trying to get attention, or as a kid, or somebody happy, or whatever. I don't know.
I think you're just responding to the rhythms, you know. So, responding to the rhythms, you know, in your own body, you just want to move. Music, you know?
And so when my mom woke up, you know, wanting to introduce me to everybody, you know, and you know, everybody just kind of smiled at her, like say, "Oh, we already know her."
How do you have the scientific background? Did you do any literature search, anything like that?
Well, so I'm on the board of an international nonprofit called Humanity Plus, which is a lot of scientists and technologists focus on longevity, aging, robotics, AI, and then also the culture and art, you know, societal impact of technology. We focus on using technology to enhance human capacity in an ethical way. And I'm also a graduate from Singularity University, you know, which had a focus on empower leaders to impact the world using technology. And so we also have like a huge track of medicine science. And also there's different tracks. So we have like 10 problem space, like global health, education, poverty, water, energy, space, security, you know, all these different space. So I'm not a scientist myself, but I'm surrounded by scientists. Also, my dad is a mathematician and an engineer.
Okay.
Yeah, so I think that also, and in growing up in China always had a huge focus on technology and science.
Yes. Yes.
So I think it's just naturally embedded in my and then Dance for Healing is co-writing grants with several Stanford professor.
Yeah.
And these are researcher scientists, so I'm learning from them. So even though I don't have a scientific background, I know how a clinical trial works. I'm writing a grant for National Science Foundation for the Small Business Innovation Grant. We also got invited to apply for National Institute of Aging.
Yeah.
Also have a grant assist program.
Mm-hmm.
So when you start looking into clinical trials, IRB, all that is very scientific driven.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how I learn a lot of science. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Coming to the aging aspect of it, that we machine, I used to ask them to put in the nursing homes. When they first came in, nobody really took interest in them. But one of the V programs has this slow movement of the dance too. They can even do it sitting nursing home patients.
Wait, you say this is a machine you put in there?
Yeah, in the 80s and 90s, the WIIV, even now, I think we have a machine, that you can.
Oh, you're talking about the Microsoft V?
Yeah, V.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah.
But that was like a video, right? And you just put the disc and then it replaces you different dance things or exercise or playing a game, they can sit there and then pretend like they're playing tennis, but the movement that was important, even if you're sitting down, you're using your hands, or if you're standing, you can play without really getting hurt or anything like that, So
funny thing is that I actually used to work in large international advertising agencies, and we actually help PlayStation launch their move.
Yeah.
Which is like a more advanced version of we.
Yes, that is the past, but the future coming in with the AI coming in will be more mechanized, and robotics will have more help for the physical things. So your dance thing will become very important to have the movement in a fun way. If we want them to do yoga or tai chi or any of that, they think, okay, we have to follow these rules and all that, right? But if it's the dance, just move to the rhythm, move to the music, it's much more fun for them, right? I think you have a lot of future, I believe, Amy. A lot of as the AI improves and as the robotics comes most into our lives.
Yeah, so we actually have a 20-page patent file in definitely looking into the biosensor integrations, even for the clinical trial right now, the clinical trial that we put together for diabetes and hypertension patient with high risk of cardiovascular health issues.
Yes.
This particular study, we're going to use not only a fitness watch, but also a scale, like orange scale, and then also do saliva tracking for stress before and after.
Yeah, that's going to be very important as we go along into this mechanization more, and a lot of people are going to be working, sitting down on the computers, and then really using the robotics to help the household work also. They will become more and more stationary rather than moving, So they will be needing this movement exercises, either the martial arts or athletics or, just dancing. Dancing is fun though for a lot of people. If they can come out of the shell, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yep.
And then you don't have to be a perfect dancer. You can just move and enjoy the movement.
Yeah, I'm definitely not a perfect dancer. I'm one of those free spirit dancers.
Yeah. You don't have to. I mean, if you learn the art and you're doing it, that's fine, But you don't have to be shy away just because you don't know the technique. You just move to the rhythm, There is another thing though. with the dance, you can induce those ecstatic states sometimes you experience with deep meditation.
Mm-hmm. So in fact, what's different about our program, we had an 8-week signature program, which we started with bounding exercise, and then we do the dance, and then we do 15 minutes of art reflection. So where we are asked users of imagine you're a child, somebody give you a piece of white paper and bunch of color pencils, start drawing your experience that you just have with the dance. And we have people like, I can draw. And we were like, that's okay. Anybody can draw. You can write words. You can just describe your experience, whether it's feeling like, the flow of the wind, or like, whatever the sound of the water. And we started having people draw flowers, the sky, the crowd, little animals, and it's just like the experience, and they fully capture that. And what's beautiful is that from a neuroscience perspective, it actually allowed them to kind of digest the benefit they just experienced from, both their body and mind perspective.
Exactly.
It actually severely enhanced the benefit.
Yeah, exactly.
By
See,
being
the
present
animals movement you mentioned, that's very telling. When they are full of joy, their stomach is full, these calves of the cow, they kind of go around and play by jumping up and down and moving and all that, and that is very nice to look at, and also very refreshing to see that they are dancing so much energy. Even the small puppies, the dogs and cats, dogs especially, they kind of jump around. My puppy, when he was a very puppy, really, he used to run around like anything for nothing, just for the sake of it, And that was lovely to see them enjoy dancing like that, No particular, that's the same thing. We can also, social systems, maybe we can be restricted, but when we are in the private personal space, we can move around, and then we can have a nice dance to a slow dance to a fast dance. Some of the rooms I see people talk about this too. Maybe we should do a room together, Amy, where dancing, healing, and meditation. How dance itself can be a meditation. I can talk about that, and you can talk about dancing and the movement.
If you want to talk about, and we can maybe even do like a clubhouse thing.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Let us start there, and then we will collaborate and see how I can integrate your program into mine, and then see what we can do more good for the people, So.
Yeah, sounds good. Yeah.
Maybe I will learn some dancing too.
Is any specific day that works for you in terms of like, we wanted to do like a classroom?
Yeah. You are, what time zone are you in? Are you in California, or where are you now?
I'm in PST time zone, California.
Okay. California, yeah, that's what I thought. So you're 2 hours ahead of me, I believe. It is now 8 for you, right? There?
Yeah, I'm about to,
I think this time is good on Tuesday. Tuesday for me, this time is good, if it is okay for you.
Sorry, what did you say?
Tuesday this time.
Oh, okay, sure. I will look into my calendar. I do have to jump out to my other call now.
Yeah.
But I will look in the calendar.
Yeah, let me know. Then I will call the room, and then I will ping you, and then we could do it together. Or you can open the room, whichever way you want.
Sure. I do have a group that was focused on creative art therapies, so maybe we can do one there.
Yeah, do that, and then ping me in, and I will come and we'll have the discussion.
Okay. All right. Okay. Yeah, I'll look into the time, and I'll message you. Okay. All right. Okay. Nice meeting you. Is it Rohini?
Rohini, yes.
Yeah, Rohini. Okay. Bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
ఈమె రాత్రి కలిసి ఆమె అడిగింది అనమాట మీటింగ్. ఆమె క్యాన్సర్ స్టేజ్ 4 కి వెళ్ళి తిరిగి వచ్చిందంట.
అమ్మ బాబాయ్.
చూడు అట్లా ఉందో
అదే కదా.
అందుకని
ఎంత
రాత్రి
ఉండొచ్చురా
అడిగి
ఏజ్?
ఒక
ఏజ్ ఎంత ఉండొచ్చు?
45-50 అట్లా ఉండొచ్చు.
అబ్బబ్బా, అప్పటికే స్టేజ్ 4 పోయిందా?
అదే కదా.
ఏంటో
ఏమవుతుందంటే వీళ్ళందరికీ క్యాన్సర్ వచ్చినంత మాత్రమే మనం చచ్చిపోతాం అనుకోరన్నమాట. ఏమనుకుంటారంటే మేము కూడా కొట్లాడుతూ ఉంటారు అనమాట. అంటే మళ్ళీ మాట్లాడుతుంటే ఇవాళ నేను మాట్లాడుతాను కావాలంటే రమ్మని చెప్పాను. అట్లా వచ్చిందనమాట. ఏమవుతుందంటే వీళ్ళందరికీ ఏదో విధంగా ఇది రావాలని ఉంటుంది అన్నమాట.
నిజమే కదా.
మన దగ్గర జాగ్రత్త ఉంటుంది. సరే అని చెప్పి అంతే కదా. ఇవాళ 10 కదా, ఇంకా 10 అయిందా అవ్వలేదా?
నా దగ్గర 8:35.
అదేలే, అది ఇప్పుడు అయింది. వీళ్ళంతా ఇండియాకి ఇంకా చేస్తా ఉన్నారు ఈ మీటింగ్లు. ఇందులో నేను అందరు పిలుస్తా ఉంటారు. పొద్దున్నుంచే 2-3 వెళ్ళి మాట్లాడి వచ్చాను. తర్వాత అది నిన్న వాళ్ళు చేసింది రెసిడెన్సీ ఇంటర్వ్యూ చేసింది, అది వచ్చింది ఇంటర్వ్యూ, అది పంపిస్తాను. అది కూడా అంటే నీకు అది నుంచి ఓపెన్ చేయడానికి లేకుండా ఉంది కదా, దాన్ని చూడాలి ఎలా. వాటిని చాలా అవుతున్నాయి ఈ మధ్య. తర్వాత ఇంకొక అమ్మాయి అడిగింది, తను వచ్చి మాట్లాడతానని నాతో. జూమ్ ఆమె ఏంటి తెలుసా, ఆమె మన రాజయోగా చేస్తే హైయెస్ట్ ఫోకస్ వస్తుందన్నమాట ఎవరికైనా. హలో చిన్నక్క, రాజయోగా చేస్తే హైయెస్ట్ ఫోకస్ వస్తుంది కదా. దాన్ని బట్టి ఒక ఆయన రష్యన్ ఫ్లో అనే బుక్ రాశాడు. దట్ ఫ్లో అని ఆ బుక్ ని బట్టి ఆమె చాలా విషయాలు చెప్తా ఉంటే నేను పోయి ఇట్లా ఈ రాజయోగంలో ఇట్లా ఉందని చెప్పాను అనమాట. ఆమె చాలా ఇన్స్పైర్ అయ్యి మన ఇద్దరు మాట్లాడాలని పంపించింది. సరే ఇట్లానే వీళ్ళు రూముల్లో నేను మాట్లాడుతుంటే చూసి అడుగుతున్నారు అనమాట. That's okay, we can talk and we are going to talk and collaborate అనమాట. So it's a kind of ఏమేంటంటే అందరికి ఇది చెప్తుంది అనమాట. ఏంటి మనం ఎలాగైనా we have to move our bodies. Dance is a good form. So she developed a program where they can come and they have partners in different places, but still they can see each other on the screen, like now here. And then she will give some routines, music, and they can play with it, and then they move, and then they are feeling much better. People who never danced also can move and then discover that that is a very good, nice thing to do. A lot of people dance here in America. Even old people also go and then just move, and then they feel good and they come and then they stay there. Rajneesh, when he used to have these camps, yoga camps, he used to make people dance and go into the blissful state. Sadhguru said the true dancer is the one where when he is dancing, you will not see the egoic dancer. So you don't have any sense of I'm dancing. You just dance and you are so immersed in that, your ego transgressed, then you are really in what is called a rasa siddhi. That means peak of experience of that dancing, So in Swarna Kamalam, that movie, Bhanupriya experiences that when she does the dance like that, that's a very good telling of that, So I didn't talk about that movie to this girl. I will talk to her when I meet her next time. So in that he says, whatever feeling you have, it will come out. old age, these Devadasis, they have intense devotional feeling to the God. So their dance was not their art or their accomplishment, but it's a flower they are giving to the God.
Okay.
When they don't have a sense of self like that, sense of self in the meaning of ego, then they are immersed with the universe. So they are in true yoga when they don't have sense of ego, but they are dancing. The dance goes as a flower to the Almighty, to the universe, or infinity, whatever that is. So.
Nijama. Correct.
So I will go and attend this meeting. Chanaka, malli maatladam.
Okay. Carry on.
Bye.